morning. Good morning. Good morning. It's Thursday. Good to see you guys. It's Kirsten Liebelt. Jump on in. Thursday morning, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. That must mean it's time to jump on and chat. How are you guys doing? It's really good to see you. Today, the title is, Are You Stuck in a Sugar Spiral? I had such a great conversation yesterday with one of my customers and did like a coaching call. And I'll just tell you, it literally spawned the entire conversation here because I so resonate with this. I don't know if this is you or not, but man, I told her, I said, I need to talk about some of this stuff because I feel like I've forgotten some things. Like, I don't think it's repression, but suppression, I guess. I don't know. I don't think it is, but like, I don't know. Like, I've chosen not to think on that and chosen to like move forward in my thoughts. So good morning, Cheryl. Good morning, Carla. Good to see you. Good morning, Sheila. Oh, you guys, you're all jumping on. I love this so much. Jump on in. If you're on TikTok, feel free to come in from the balcony. We're going to talk about insulin resistance. And today we're going to talk specifically about being in like a sugar tailspin and wanting to be able to help you out just a little bit in that. And every day at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, this is what we do. We jump on and we talk about this for about an hour. And I've come from an Italian family. That's pretty much all I should ever have to say. But, you know, I do add in a few other things. But I come from an Italian family and, you know, we were taught how to love food. Thank you for the hearts. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, because you know that pushes out the algorithm. So I appreciate everybody on TikTok, because TikTok is like a job. It's like a part-time job for people to tap, 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 and keep everything kind of going, moving, and pushing it out. So I appreciate all of the likes and shares and follows and everything on TikTok, because it's its own universe. So, but you know, I was really very much raised to love food. Like, food was everything. Food was celebration. Food was mourning. Food was party time. Like even if it's just a birthday. Like, it could be just nothing. And what happens then is, I think when we get older and now we've got these connections, we think that we are bad for having these connections. We associate it with us being losers. So let's fix that just a little bit today. Hopefully I can translate some of the things that maybe I've actually gone through, or some of the tools that I put into place for myself. Maybe that can translate to you. What we do have going on, excuse me, if you're on the replay, let me know you're on the replay and tell me where you're coming in from. If you didn't know already, there is a Facebook group called Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. And that is, obviously I didn't drink water this morning. Like, what in the world? I had my gut primer. I already had a whole cup of water, and I've taken my supplements. Like, I'm ready to go. So good to see you. So true. Family life revolved around food. We are so going to get into it today. Let me tell you what. Good morning, Anna. Thank you for being on TikTok, Anna. I appreciate you, because I know you'll just tap. I appreciate you. And if you don't have time because of, you know, your situation, it's okay. Don't ever feel bad. But when you do, I so appreciate it. But anyway, you know, I feel like if we can actually believe that we can shift things. Oh, I know what I was going to say. The group Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women, the challenge, the monthly challenge that we have in there is next Monday. It's on September 9th. You still have time. You're not too late. It's not too late for you to grab the trio. It's not required, but if you wanted to have that new track to run on, where you grab the trio, the 3 supplements that help with insulin sensitivity, then we're going to talk about ingredient trade outs. We're going to do a challenge every month, and we're going to sail through the end of the year. We're going to sail through the holidays. Okay. We're going to actually have tools in our toolbox that is going to help us get from here to January 1st, and we are ahead of the game. We are on track. We are actually losing weight during the holidays. not gaining weight, and we feel empowered and in control. How would you like that to be your holidays this year instead of the last maybe 10 years that you've had where you've been you just go into it defeated and already giving up? So let's shift that paradigm. So the 5-day challenge starts on Monday. It goes through Friday. I do 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. I go live every single day, and it's our 16th one. And the reason why this is so important is because this is not a one and done thought process. You don't have to sign up for it. There's no fee for it. All you have to do is get into the group, get tagged in the free recipe PDF pantry idea, free. You know, if you're going to get the trio, reach out to me. I'll help you get the trio so you can get it shipped to you as fast as possible. And we'll start on Monday. Okay. And there have been people who have done like 7 challenges in a row because it's a recalibration every month. Let's recalibrate. Let's do that. Okay. So I'm talking to my new friend, she's a customer of mine, and she just really needed to chat. She needed to talk through a scenario. And this was last night, and it just made me so happy to be able to do this. What's the new recipe? I don't know yet, Linda. I haven't chosen the recipe, but thank you for asking. Last month, we did the lemon blueberry keto cake, and it was amazing. I double the recipe, put it in a jelly roll, and make it into bars. Amazing. Good morning. Good to see you. You're trying, but it's not letting you. What is that, Sheila? Order the trio. I saw that they were having some technical difficulties this morning. What you're talking about? I literally was just on my website before I jumped on, and I'm like, oh, shoot. So every now and then there's like maintenance. So that might be what's happening. So let me know if you have any issues. I will help anybody today that needs help with stuff as much as I possibly can. So maybe savory this time. Okay, I'm listening, Cheryl. Something savory. Okay, I like it when you guys. Thank you, Anna. I just so appreciate you. I'm down with that. I could think about that. I listen to you guys because I want you guys to get things that, oh, you're trying to like the video. You know what, Sheila? That is on TikTok. So for TikTok, they tap on the screen, but for Instagram, you don't have to worry about that. Thank you so much, Sheila. You are amazing for thinking that. I love that you were doing that for me. Thank you. You're so awesome. I've got Anna over here on TikTok on a different device, and she's just like tapping her little heart out. God bless you, Anna. So anyway, I was talking to her last night about, she said, I'm in a sugar tailspin. And that's my words for it. And she's like, I just, I need to be encouraged basically and get back on track. And how do I do this? And as I was talking and sharing some of my own stories and some of the things that I resonate with, I thought, this is really important information for a lot of people. And I just really feel like now, right now, here we are, September, what is it? Is it the 4th or the 5th, whatever it is? We are literally going to start to feel this momentum towards the holidays. We're going to start to feel this kind of barreling forward as time starts to pass, what seemingly is faster than normal. And we hit Halloween, and that seems to begin. This was for me now. It might not be you. But I always thought, oh, well, Halloween is literally like you're just opening up Pandora's box. I don't even celebrate Halloween. I don't even have little kids anymore. It's just the fact that even right now, if you go into Walmart, you're going to see the wall of Halloween candy. Okay. And then it's going to be they're not even going to wait for it to be done. And they're going to have a wall of Christmas candy up. And they're not even going to wait for that to be done. And they're going to have all of the Valentine's candy up. And then they're not going to wait. And it's going to be Easter. And they literally market to you like this. So if you already have in your own world a feeling of kind of these are the weaknesses for you. These are the areas that kind of like, you don't like that. Like my favorite candy in all of the world was Easter candy. The Cadbury mini eggs, like just get me to Easter, because those to me are just like, they're crack. They just are. I haven't had them in years now, but I mean, easy. You don't get the small bag, get the family size. Like, what are you even thinking? Do you even like candy? I mean, that's, because it's so yummy. And so anyway, if you want to feel like you're getting a little bit of a head start, take in just a nugget here and a nugget there, whether it's from my live content, whether it's from the challenge in the group next week. You know, just take one thing at a time. Like, you know, Linda was talking about what's the new recipe for next week. Get one ingredient, get one recipe in your repertoire. So what happened was she took an evening and went to a local ice cream place and with her husband. And it literally started something that was a spiral for her. And she said, I just don't know how to get out of the spiral. And, you know, I remember there is a ice cream shop here in the cities. It's called Nelson. So if you're local, you know what I'm talking about, and I haven't been there in a few years, but when you ask for like a large ice cream, they literally, like, they're known for this. It's scoopable ice cream. It's really good. They have a bazillion flavors, and they literally pile it so high that you're literally paying for this massive amount of ice cream. It's almost like you're just gorging on ice cream, but you can have multiple flavors and whatever. And so it's an experience to go to Nelson's. You're not just grabbing a pint of Rebel at your local grocery store and coming home and sitting down on the couch. You're going as a family or as a couple, you're going to the ice cream place and you're having an experience. And so that was the first thing that we identified was, so it wasn't for you the moment of, oh, I'm going to go have sugar tonight. It was really probably more of, oh, what a lovely experience with my husband, because we don't want to give up our social time. This is why, you guys, this is why I talk about the carb blocker all the time, but I am going to give a caveat to that today. I haven't really done that before because it didn't really kind of resonate with me until last night when I was talking to her. So I'll get to that here in just a second. But the carb blocker is a product that some people will grab that with the trio, and it will stop up to 500 calories of sugar from hitting your bloodstream in that, like when you take it. And, so I'm going to give a caveat about that because she's been using the carb blocker, but she's also been using a thought process, a system that I'm not going to name or anything like that. That's not my MO. I don't like to dog on other companies, but I do not like this mindset at all. And I've always said this from the very beginning. I don't like this mindset. I want to teach you how to fish. I want to teach you how to fix this. This is why we do a challenge every single month. This is why we do a recipe. This is why I teach you the ingredient trade-offs. This is why I tag you in a free recipe PDF when you get into the group. Ditch insulin resistance for women, by the way. This is why, because I want to teach you how to fish. I do not like this idea that you can take product, and then this is the main part of the conversation for this particular company. You can take product that will cheat the system, and so you can kind of still eat what you want. I don't like that because it's not teaching you how to fish. All right. Having said that, this is my caveat. I used carb blocker for about 3 years, probably closer to 4, but I usually say 3 just because I'm not trying to over exaggerate. Sometimes I think, really, Kirsten, was it 4 years? Oh my gosh. Like your journey. No wonder your journey was a little slower than other people's, but I was allowing myself my own journey. Okay. So I would have carb blocker in my pockets on a regular basis for social settings. Like if I knew that we were going to go to a wedding, if I knew that we were going to go to whatever, last minute you get asked to go to a barbecue, or you have a holiday coming up and somebody threw a party on your calendar last minute, whatever it is. And you have that feeling like maybe she did and she didn't even identify it. She just was going on her own little river of life. Oh, I'm about to have a social experience and I want to be just like everybody else. Now, I just don't know ice cream shops that sell sugar-free ice cream. I mean, I really don't. I go to Lake Minnetonka, Wayzata Bay in Minneapolis, where they have darling little Excelsior Bay, Wayzata Bay on the lake, where in the summertime it's ice cream shop. That's what you do. You go get ice cream. Okay, right? Neither one of them sells sugar-free ice cream. I mean, unless they've changed it. But I'm just saying, like, it's just not normal. I went to the state fair. I didn't find any sugar-free ice cream. It's just not going to probably happen. That's okay. They don't have to. But I'm just saying, I already know this because now I've walked the journey. So she wants to have an experience. The experience involves ice cream. She allows herself to have ice cream. It literally put her into a sugar tailspin. She's like, I'm so voracious for sugar right now. Okay. Now, pause. She needed to know for herself, I'm the one who avoided type 2 diabetes. Okay. Well, are type 2, you have to know how close to the edge of just going over you are in terms of what that could trigger, like biologically inside of your body. Some people are more metabolically flexible than other people. That's really what I'm trying to say. And so she was obviously at the top of her and it kind of went whoosh. And that wasn't happy for her, right? So now she's trying to get out of that because her body's like, ooh, more. For her, I said, you may not want to buy carb blocker again because for her, or use it less and less and less. Like, I'm not in the habit of telling people to not purchase product, but I am in the habit of trying to customize for people exactly what you need. So for her, if that permission that she gave herself was too much, then she's got to pull back, right? But not out of shame. And so I'm going to get to that now. So the caveat with carb blocker is know yourself. If you know that you're kind of like, you know what, I am just trying to transition the last few pieces of my world, or I just needed to try to get me over the first 30 days or 60 days or whatever, like whatever, or I needed to ride me through the holidays because I just know that I'm going to be learning at the same time how to transition my ingredients, that I am also walking the social event calendar. Use it as a tool to serve you, not as a permission to keep rewarding yourself. And I'm going to give you some examples of that from myself. Balloons on Instagram. Hey, Mary. Nelson's in Stillwater. That's right, Linda. And there was one in St. Paul too. I don't know if it's still there. You drive right by every time to go to church. Haven't been there in years. I know. Let me tell you, because yum. And it's so quaint and it's so darling. And it's all high school kids like scooping ice cream, and on a beautiful Minnesota summer day, like it is an experience. You're all sitting out on picnic tables, eating ice cream, chatting it up, enjoying the weather, enjoying the day. Stillwater is a darling boutique town. Like, you guys get what I'm talking about, right? Like, that's how this is. You might need that 9 birthdays from September, December plus holidays. I know, Carla. I know. I got the holidays start to just cascade right on top of us. We also have birthdays and stuff like that. Ours goes from, Thanksgiving all the way through the end of January because we have 3 birthdays in January. So ours is just a little tilted, but man, it just feels like it keeps on going. Family gatherings are challenging because there are so many carbs and there are a lot of food pushers. So use it as a tool, okay? But if you think it's going to trigger you, I'm just, don't make your thought process that every time you buy the trio, you're going to order carb blocker. Don't do that. If that's going to be too much for you, you can't, you know what I'm saying? Like, try to use it less and less and less so that you don't use it anymore. And it took me a long time. And I look back at, I was not taking my journey thinking that I should be taking notes on my journey. So now I go back in my head to try to remember. And so at the time I wasn't thinking, wow, Kirsten, you're really taking a long time transitioning your food. Had I really thought about it, maybe I would, but I was like, no, I was just on my journey. Right. So yeah, it is a fun time. Okay. So the first thing that she needed to do was just actually identify that the reason why she even gave herself permission for that was because it was a social experience. So identify for yourself your own social experiences that they're coming. They're coming. What is it for you? The ones that you love the most. Note them in your mind and just know that they're there. Okay. The second thing is Give yourself credit right now before you go any further. Start with giving yourself credit. Thank you so much for all the likes. I just so appreciate you guys. Give yourself credit. I told her, listen, girlfriend, you are on my content. How many people do you know that are not on my content? A lot, like almost the entire universe. And it doesn't have to be just mine. There's a lot of really good content out there. You have already done this, and this. Will you give yourself credit for what you have done already? You're making strides. The whole purpose of me telling you about my journey is because it must have been God helping me to have grace for myself, because I chose to do my journey without any shame. I was so done with the shame around food in my world. I was like, I kind of was giving that system, no person in particular, I was kind of giving that system the finger a little bit. Like, people are not going to push me around anymore about food, and nobody's going to shame me anymore. So I kept it all in my head. The ingredients that I was trading out, what I was practicing, what I didn't tell anybody pretty much anything. My family could see that I was making changes. They knew that I was, but all of the chatter in my head that I was choosing to be like, I'm actually processing and talking to myself and moving forward, that kind of chatter, just me and God having this conversation the whole time, because I wasn't interested in anybody else's opinion of whether or not I'm balanced enough, whether or not I'm like, well, but I heard this and heard that. I don't care. I was going to do my own study. Maria Emmerich. I was looking up things with Suzanne Summers that I had grabbed. I was starting to watch a YouTube video here and there from Ken Berry, Dr. Ken Berry, Dr. Eric Berg. Like, I started to take in information, dissect it. I started playing with ingredients. Nobody really people kind of would, chuckle or whatever. I'm sure that, if I brought things to a social setting, maybe people internally rolled their eyes. I didn't care anymore. I was done. And I had to give myself permission and credit. Listen, that first time that I went to Red Robin and I ordered a burger wrapped in lettuce, I was proud of myself. You have to give yourself credit. Did you go out and you ordered something and you wrapped it in lettuce? Are you sitting on my content, taking in information? Did you trade out an ingredient? Did you try a new recipe? Are you making strides towards having a healthier life, towards actually dealing with your own insulin resistance? Is that what you've been doing little by little? And sure, I get it. We all want to be further along. I get it. Blah, 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 blah. Me too. But are you moving towards at least like trying to help yourself? Because then you've got to pause, because you can't be having this internal dialogue that's negative and putting yourself down. You can't do that. You have to decide that that's got to be done. And that is one of the hardest parts. I tell you guys this almost every single day. That's so noisy. This is easy. This is the trio. This is easy. Getting into a supplement routine, this is easy. This is hard. Easy. Start here. Get your body functioning from the inside out. Actually start to help it on a cellular level. It actually will help with sugar cravings and appetite control and all of those things. It will actually get your engine moving. And then work on this and work on not being so hard on yourself. Okay? So for me, allowing myself that journey was really, really, really important, because I still was not always making the best decisions. It took me over 3 years to trade out my ingredients. It took me a long time. I wasn't really doing it with anybody. I didn't have any videos. Like, I wasn't watching anybody's live video. I wasn't in a group. I wasn't in a Facebook group. I wasn't in anything. It was just me and God and, my shopping list and some content that I was, like if I was reading an article or taking in a YouTube video, but I didn't know any different. And I was really good with that. I was super happy about that. Good morning, Matt. Good to see you. So Linda is saying that the carb blocker quiets the food noise. And I would say that that is 100% true. It's actually why I've never really given it a lot of caveats with it, because I've gotten so many testimonies from people who say, oh my gosh, I'm not ravenous for snacking at night. I'm not like, it's helping it's just helping to quiet that food noise. And the trio is a piece of that puzzle as well. But I do know that the carb blocker, it can be a tool, but if you go into a spin because you're giving yourself too much permission. So now I'm going to transition into that piece. I was giving myself too much permission. This is why it took me longer than the average bear. So I'm going to tell you how this went for me. Sometimes, most of the time, we're very entitled in our own minds. And we're very like, listen, I deserve to have a good social experience just as much as the next person. I deserve to be able to go to that wedding and have a piece of cake. Hello, you can't tell me I can't. Okay, a little bit of that. Or a little bit of you know what? I've been doing pretty good lately. Let's go to Red Robin. I'm gonna treat myself to sweet potato fries. And I just was treating myself like really frequently. And I was feeling a little bad for myself, probably a little too much when it came to social settings. And I was giving myself way too much permission. That goes back to, I do not like the thought process of a program that tells you that you can eat pretty much anything you want. And I don't care what the program is. And I'm sure there's more than, I've got 2 in my brain right now. There's probably more than that, but you can eat kind of pretty much whatever you want. You're just going to take this product to offset it. I don't like that thought process because it's not addressing this up here. It's not addressing the, there's 2 components. There's a mental component and then there's a physical component. And what she was starting to feel was that physical component a little bit mixed with her, so she just didn't know how to get out of it. And so she was allowing herself a little bit of sugar every single day. So just enough to keep her going, just enough to keep her going. But then it's kind of like that trifecta of bad thoughts and entitlement and a little bit keeping that sugar going in your body every day. So she was kind of like keeping it going, keeping it churning, and really being able to say no and to like shift it out a little bit. It'd be hard to do, but it's very imperative. But if you have a system or I always call it a track to run on. The track to run on that I teach people is targeted supplementation, ingredient trade outs, and a challenge every month. Maybe their track to run on is take this product to cheat the system and kind of eat still whatever you want. That might be their track to run on. You know what I'm saying? I don't like that track. I don't like it at all. I feel like it's keeping you in a spiral. It's keeping you dependent. And I don't like that. Okay. It's like, and everybody's at a different spot. Okay. So I was giving myself permission way too frequently. And that was a problem. That was a big problem. So we identified that for her. And then we talked about, so what do you do about that? How do you then have something on hand that you can trade out? So we talked about, okay, so instead of doing this for chocolate, let's talk about lilies. It's like, for instance, now I'm to the point where I don't keep lilies in my house because I will just eat lilies all day long. I just know myself. I do not keep large containers of nuts in my house. I know I know that I'm going to want to sit down and just snack on nuts. So I have to just shift things, right? But it doesn't mean that I never do. So instead now for myself, let's go back to the Nelson's analogy of ice cream. For myself, instead of thinking, oh, I deserve to go have actually, I'm going to use the movie theater because I would reward myself by, listen, I've worked hard. So let's go have the movie experience. It's Friday night. It's been a long week. Let's go watch. Just so happens to be a good movie in the theater, which is actually extremely rare right now. But you're like, let's go to the movies. I've been good for a long time now, whatever that is. Let's just go ahead and do theater butter popcorn and some milk duds. And I'm just going to I'm going to give myself permission. Well, then you wake up the next morning, you don't go right back on track, do you? Most of the time? No, not at all. It just starts to bleed and bleed and bleed over into the weekend. And, pretty soon you're in that tailspin. So instead, what I did was I shifted that. Okay, let's go to a movie. Everybody wants to go to a movie. Awesome. There's something good in the theater. Finally. Awesome. Let's go. Can I stop at Walmart on the way over? And I'm going to grab myself a Lily's bar because I'm not keeping it in the house, but I'm going to put it in my purse. And I'm probably actually only going to eat half of it because it can upset my tummy a little bit. So I just know that. But now that's my special treat. I've just shifted. I didn't shift the social moment. I didn't shift the fact that I wanted a treat. I just changed out what it was. Okay? Because you're not going to deal with all of your entitlements overnight. You're not going to change out your feeling of wanting to be socially fun for yourself and giving yourself that reward if that's your thing. You're not going to want to do that overnight. Oh, take Ceylon cinnamon first before sweets. That's a really good. Cinnamon is so amazing for helpful. I can see that because I'm light and the comments are light on TikTok. I haven't been seeing things. That's so funny. That's a really good tip though. This is so helpful with the internal dialogue. Jacqueline, good. I'm glad. Keeping the chatter to myself and letting it override the food noise. Carla, good. Yes, 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 yes. Oh, you guys, it's so doable. This is so doable. I want you to leave today knowing that everything that I'm talking about, this just comes from the most authentic place for me. Like this was my journey and it is so doable. And if I could do it without anybody like around me to whatever, you can do this. Because you have so many friends right here on all of these platforms. You have so much encouragement inside of the group. You have so much help. You have so many tools. You have so many resources. So anyway, so I would just shift that out and I would all of a sudden just have a Lily's bar. Okay. Now, anything that you have for a social setting that's coming up that feels that way for you, just take a second. It's only going to take you a few minutes to identify what is it coming up. Do you have a wedding coming up? Do you have, I'm in Minnesota, so it would be common to start having fall time bonfires where everybody is doing marshmallows and s'mores and all of the things. I'm trying to think, because obviously the holidays are the more obvious ones. When we start to get into, for me, it's October. I feel very triggered in the month of October because I want to eat squash. I want to eat, but not just any squash. You guys might think, oh, you want to eat squash, you granola person, you. No. I'm thinking more like, I don't think it's the acorn squash. I'm trying to think of which one it's called. I don't think it's butternut. It doesn't matter. It's one of the really sweeter orange squashes. And I was just raised on this. So, but ample amounts of butter and salt and brown sugar. That's, you make it kind of more like a dessert and then it's super starchy. And that is where I like to live when October hits in Minnesota. I'm like, ooh, comfort food, something to warm you up. You can feel that hibernation setting in, right? You can feel like all of a sudden there's a chill in the air. So I've just switched it out. Now I find other things, but I can feel it like internally. So don't be hard on yourself for feeling that way. The fact that you feel that way, there's nothing wrong with that. It's attached to a really good memory. Just because you want to go have ice cream, there's nothing wrong with you. Duh, like you are literally just wanting to have a social moment with your husband, with your friends, with your family. It's okay. It's okay to feel like you had a long week and you deserve to sit down, watch a movie or go to a movie or go out to eat or whatever. There's nothing wrong with that. Work through that, but then have a plan in place. So for me, like I told her, I said, I will even go to like Walmart and the ready whipping cream. These are not perfect ingredients, but they have a keto one and it tastes so good. But that's a very, like, it's a creamy and a very satisfying. You could take a Lily's bar, little squares of Lily bars, and put a dollop of whipped cream on there. And it just is such like, wow, that's kind of, to me, it's a little bit of a high level treat because it's so satisfying, right? I mean, I'm just telling you, find the things for you that really kind of hit on whatever it is that you're looking for to replace. Now, for me, when it comes to popcorn, because I love popcorn, I haven't had popcorn now in years, but I love popcorn. I mean, going to the theater and having popcorn, what's not to love? Like, that to me was my thing. So instead, what I would do is I would start bringing in, and only because they just didn't have anything for me there. That is when I would allow myself maybe mixed nuts in a baggie, or sunflower seeds that were already shelled, something salty that I could have for me to just kind of go like this, to kind of, because what you're wanting is, you're wanting the mindless snacking. So if I'm not allowing myself mindless snacking all the time, like, I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to scroll on my phone, and I have my thing of nuts, and I'm just going to scroll on my phone and eat nuts at the same time, because that's the activity that I'm seeking. Right? Well, it's the same thing when you go to a movie theater. You're just wanting to sit and watch and go, right? I mean, am I wrong? Tell me I'm wrong. Like, you just want, it's that experience. So trade it out, find something else. I don't keep nuts in my house, but what if I put them in a baggie and took them to the theater and I treated myself? I don't keep lilies in my house, but what if I kept lilies in my house for that Friday night? We're going to curl up on the couch and watch a movie, and maybe I'm even going to get a little bit of keto, like whipped cream. Okay. So identify what are the things for you. Give yourself permission to, have that journey inside of your head for yourself, and to not shame yourself, because we're all the same. We're not different. We're all the same. Okay. So there's no shame in the game. There's no shame in the game. You're working to trade it out and give yourself credit for being on content that is teaching you this, so that you can get it into your head, so that you can actually make a different decision on an ingredient, a different decision on a recipe, a different decision at a social setting. Give yourself credit. You have to celebrate your wins. You have to stop looking at only the fact that you ate the ice cream. Stop it. You have to stop. Okay. And I think the last thing is, and that because I took a few notes after I talked to her, the last piece would be, give yourself permission to, maybe this is the wrong way to say it. Forget about the permission. Stop requiring everything to look a certain way. Stop requiring your body to lose weight fast. Stop requiring for your journey to be overnight. Stop requiring people to not be food pushers. It's not going to happen. If you have food pushers around you, they're not going to change overnight. Stop requiring them. Hey, Sherry, good to see you. Stop requiring them to stop pushing food in order for you to succeed. I mean, oh my gosh, that's not going to happen, because they're not going to change their behavior. Think of whatever it is that's holding you back or slowing you down, and then tell yourself, identify it, and then say, I'm going to stop requiring that to work for me that way. Like, if you know that, I'm trying to think of something to do with like ingredients, because when you have other people in your family that are in your home, and it is hard to change out ingredients, because maybe you're making one meal for them and one meal for yourself, or at the very least, you're shopping for them at the time you're shopping for yourself. And I hear that conversation a lot, because it is hard when everybody else they still want their stuff, but you're trading out your stuff. Stop requiring them to care about what you're doing. They shouldn't have to give two hoots about what you're doing in order for you to just go on and succeed. That's why for me, it just had to be me and Jesus in my mind, just I'm walking my own journey. I identifying my own stuff. It's funny because there was a moment in time, probably within the last year or something, and somebody was asking me questions about how I eat and whatever, and they were being extremely kind because we were coming over for a social setting, and they wanted to like accommodate me. And this is where I've gotten to now. Okay, so I wasn't here that long ago, or I started about 8 years ago. So 8 years ago, this isn't where I was, but this is where I am now. And I said, oh, you are so incredibly kind to even ask me that question. I literally can figure out anything. It's no big deal. I require absolutely nobody to pay any attention to how I eat. I don't require anything, because guess what? I'm going to take care of myself. Sometimes that means that I have a string cheese in my purse. Sometimes that means that I've got remember we were talking about protein shakes with ultra processed foods. I actually have a clean protein shake. And sometimes I'll take that and I'll shake that up and I'll drink that on the way to a business meeting or on the way to somebody's house, because I know that they're going to be serving, like, it's all going to be sugar. There's not going to be an option for me. Do you understand what I'm saying? Or sometimes that is when you keep, if I'm going to have a business conference coming up in October, the beginning of October, we're going to go to Louisville, Kentucky, and we're going to have a business conference. I am definitely going to plan for those 3 days much differently than I would plan for 3 days at home. That is when I'm going to allow myself to have nuts in my purse. I'm going to allow myself to have Lily's bars or Lily chocolate chips available to me. And does my weight stall for the weekend? Yeah, probably. Do I care? Nope. Because I did what was right for me. I ate properly. I felt amazing. I didn't have swollen ankles. I woke up and I had energy. I wasn't falling asleep during a session. I wanted to get all the goodness out of listen, I'm paying money to go to a conference so that I can increase my skill set or increase my mindset or whatever. Like, I don't want to spend money and then not be present. I come home, there's no fallout. I'm not recovering from anything. Ask me how I know the other side of that. We used to get on a bus. We don't do buses anymore. They're too expensive. But we used to get on a bus as a team. And I would pack a huge cooler full of food. I would try to do fairly well, right? Like, the normal standard American diet thought process. Listen, honey, it's all about balance. As long as you're just packing as much fruit as possible, you're doing good, which is a joke, which is a lie when you're insulin resistant. That's not true. It's really bad. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is that then I would offset that with Trader Joe kettle chips, salt and pepper, and, whatever snack foods that I wanted. Well, by the time I got to the conference, my ankles were so swollen. I was laying on the bed, putting my feet up against the wall, and I was exhausted. Oh my gosh. And then you're literally like this, trying so hard to stay awake. And so then because you're trying hard to stay awake, you're snacking. I mean, this is just the cycle. This is how I know this. And then by the time you get done on Monday morning, you're just exhausted. You're just so tired. You can't even then now dissect what you took in. I just refuse to live that way anymore. I refuse. So I'll wrap up with this today. So basically what we were talking about then at the end was I, at some point, decided, and it's probably because of, again, it's my own experience. So my dad dies of type 2 diabetes. He's 63 years old. For the last 10 years of his life, he has very low function. His life sucks. It sucks. He's taken tons of meds, injecting insulin, trying to get everything to play nice in his body. He's feeling crap. He's not even safe to drive. He's going to dialysis. It's making him throw up. You get the picture. Then I move on in life. And then so about 7 years ago, is it now? We're 7 years ago. 7 years ago, we realized that my mom has dementia. We moved her out of her home into independent living and blah, blah, blah. Whatever. I should say first we moved her out of her home in independent living and realized how bad it was. But anyway, we go into this cycle for 5 years. 6, it doesn't matter. Between my mother and her dementia, and I'm sorry, but dementia sucks, right? And at the same time, my brother is having health issues. And so we have 2 people in our family that we're navigating. My mother with dementia, my brother with, he had a heart attack and surgery and had a stroke on the table. And then he had 2 years of hospitals, group homes, intensive care, emergency rooms, nursing homes. You get that picture, right? So we've got 2 vulnerable adults, both type 2, and both ended up with, she had dementia from, she was already like 88 at the time. And by the time he passed, he was in his upper 50s. By the time he passed, he was 60. But because of the stroke, he ended up with dementia. So he had a level of dementia. But for both of them, food was the core problem for both of them. So everything that brought me to the place of December of 2017, when we launched into that 5 to 6 year period with my mom and my brother, was accelerated and multiplied a lot. Because now there's no way I'm going back. I'm not going to do it. I want to wake up every morning and I want to have energy. I do not look at anything I do as deprivation. I do not feel entitled to feel like crap anymore. I do not feel deserving of treating myself and then feeling horrible and having swollen ankles and everything else. I don't feel that. To me is not a treat anymore. Now I wake up and I don't ache. Oh, Jesus, it feels so good. Thank you, Lord. Like, it feels so good. I have energy. I know how to supplement. I know how to take, I already used my last one. I know how to take my purple packet adaptogenic herbs so that I can get rid of my brain fog. If I have any brain fog, I know how to take the trio and keep my engine going. My engine maintenance is always going. I have my gut primer. This is not who I was. I have my gut primer so that I've got my prebiotics and my postbiotics and I've got my whatever. I know now how to keep my engine moving all the time. And what that affords me is the ability to know that when I turn 60 in January, I don't go to the Minnesota State Fair and feel horrible. I don't go into further brain fog and memory issues. I don't add meds to my plate. I'm not on any. I don't then live with the side effects of meds or the nutritional deficiencies of meds. Like, you cannot talk me out of doing what I'm doing, because now I took back my life. I took it back and I said, no. So you can't bully me about food. I really don't have food bullies anymore. I did, but I don't anymore. I've shifted my association. I don't have anybody pressuring me on that, whatever. But still, there are times that people, it's their love language to feed you, right? And so I just know how to handle that now, and I'm good. And I'm just telling you, like, when I say to people, when I come on here and I say to you guys, somebody will say, well, don't you crave things anymore? Carla, you're so awesome. She's saying that this is very powerful. I'm glad that you're feeling that way. When I come on here and people will say to me, don't you have cravings anymore? And I go, no, actually, I don't. I don't mean to say that flippantly. I really don't. I don't want you to feel like, well, gosh, she doesn't have cravings anymore, but I do. I'm a loser. Don't do that. The only reason is because my journey of the last 10 years now has been one of self-assessment, permission, dealing with my mental dialogue, dealing with my thoughts, because your thoughts are things. And there is a really good book called What to Say When You Talk to Yourself by Shad Helmstetter. That's a good book. And instead of always looking at what I'm quote unquote giving up according to the world, according to all those people that say that what I'm doing is restrictive, they're focused on what you're giving up. I started focusing all of my energy on what I'm going towards. All of it. Wow, I don't ache. This is freaking amazing. I just spent 12 hours at the fair and I didn't have fallout. Wow. I just went on a 12-hour road trip. Like, let's see, last year we drove down to Texas, 10, 11 hours. Not a swollen ankle to be seen. Those are the things that matter to me. My grandsons came over and I got down on the floor with them and I sat and I played with them. I don't have brain fog. I don't wake up and question dementia. It is a personal decision for me. I don't know what my future holds, but I will do everything in my power to make sure that my family doesn't have to take care of me the way that our society expects that you have to be taken care of. Society wants you to think that it is normal and common that you go and you pick out your memory care place right now. Know where you want to go. But you see, that doesn't work for me for two reasons. One reason is I already did that with my mom, and that really sucked. She knew something was wrong. It's not like she didn't know. Has that dawned on you that somebody who has dementia, they actually know that they have dementia? Maybe it would have gotten to the point where she really didn't. But for almost the entire time, she was like, there's something not right with me, isn't there? I'd be like, yeah, Mom, you have dementia. Oh, she'd say, oh, I have dementia. And that was hard on her spirit, right? The second thing is that, you see, I've got this Swedish grandma. Her name was Esther. And she grew up on a farm in Cambridge, Minnesota. That's where my mom grew up. Actually, she didn't grow up there. She raised her kids there. My mom was one of those kids. And they grew up with real milk and real meat and real butter and real cream. And they probably ate all of their foods in season, or they canned, or whatever, they preserved. They lived the life that literally changed the entire trajectory of her life. And when she died at 97, she was still playing Scrabble. So that lives in my mind. And I'm like, I'm going to be like Esther. I'm not going to be like my mom, who was her daughter. But you see, they want you to think that having memory issues is normal so that you don't do anything about it. Being on 3 to 4 meds in your 50s, it's normal. Balloons on Instagram. So funny. They want you to think this is all normal. It's BS. They're scamming you. They're stealing your life from you. And they're stealing your ability to have memories. And I could actually go into an entire conversation about pharmakia in general from even a biblical standpoint. I'm not against pharmacy. I'm not against medicine. I'm not telling you that. But I'm just telling you there's an agenda to keep you on 2, 3, 4 lifelong meds because you are a very profitable customer. But you can shift it because this is not a terminal diagnosis. You can shift it. And you don't need a team of oncologists to shift it. Don't need a bunch of lab tests to identify that you're insulin resistant. You probably already know you are if you're on my content. You've either been diagnosed or you've been like, oh my gosh, I have definitely not been able to lose any weight in my 40s. Maybe I am insulin resistant. Holy cannoli. Like, that's what it is. That's why I always say I'm so convinced that women slide into their 40s. They're insulin resistant. They don't know it. It's literally the key as to why they can't lose weight or why they keep gaining weight, because insulin is a hormone. It's a fat storing hormone. And when your cells are resistant, you're going to store all that extra glucose as fat. and you're going to be exhausted while you do it because now you can't get any energy into your cell, but you can become more sensitive. You can open up that cell again. That's where the trio comes in. That's where talking to you about dealing with this on a cellular level shifts everything. But give yourself permission that you do not require that this get fixed in 2 weeks, 2 days, 2 hours. Like, stop. Your body has to turn like a ship. Okay, hold on. I'm missing stuff. Carla. Okay. Oh, Carla, you're going to say something nice, aren't you? Okay, hold on. I'm going to put this up on the screen so I can read it. Carla says this: I started following you in June. She joined Ditch Insulin Resistance in July and started to further clean out her pantry and her fridge, tweaking and switching out ingredients. Oh, Carla, you're such a good student. Started the trio and the gut health in August. So that's amazing. So the trio, those are the 3. The primer, that's what I take every morning. I zhuzh it up. Your A1C had gone up to a 9 in June. You just got your A1C back from your September 4th blood work, and it is a 6.3, which is in pre-diabetes range. Woohoo to me, she says. Love what you do. Thanks so much. Oh, Carla. I'm so going to share that. You guys, do you hear that? Do you understand? Do you understand the power of that? I don't care what anybody else did this summer. I don't care, right? I know what Carla did. She did not spend her summer going backwards. She spent her summer going forward. So really important now for you, Carla, and I'm sure you're already doing it. You have got to give yourself credit for that. While everybody else indulged in every single barbecue and in every single wedding cake and in every single graduation party and whatever, it didn't require perfection. It required you to just take steps. In June, she starts, what was it? I have to read that again. You started following me in June. Step 1. Step 2, in July, she got into the group, Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. And then in August, she actually purchased the trio and the gut primer. Her A1C, because that's what it takes for 3 months to show your A1C, right? It went from a 9 down to a 6.3. And she did trade out ingredients. That's a part of being in the group, because I do a pantry and a fridge reveal every month in the free 5-day challenge. So literally, she took all of the free content. She took the free challenge. She applied what she heard. Her only investment was in product for herself. It was in product for herself. That was her only investment. She did not pay me for my time. She did not pay money for the challenge. She invested in something that she actually got physically to her home. And that's what she did with her summer. Oh, it fires me up, Carla. So what are you going to do over the next 3 months? What do your next 90 days look like? Because everybody else might do something different. Everybody else might be I'm going to totally pumpkin lattes, here I come. It is season. I had such a hard week. I deserve another pumpkin latte. I deserve a pumpkin scone. I deserve a pumpkin pie. I deserve pumpkin fill in the blank. Maybe that's the 90 days that somebody else is going to take. And then they're just going to be primed for the sugar season that starts October 31st. Maybe that's what they're going to do. That's not what you have to do. You could be the opposite and say, wow, I actually traded out an ingredient and I traded out a recipe and I got into the group and I did a challenge or 2 challenges. And when Thanksgiving came, I actually knew how to make a pumpkin roll with almond flour and cream cheese. And it was so freaking amazing. I brought it to my aunt's house and everybody loved it. And in the meantime, I lost 10 pounds. I'm just saying, you write your own story. You decide for yourself. Carla, I'm so proud of you, Carla. I'm so proud of you. What an amazing testimony. Yes, STATINSs mess people up. Yes, they do. Have a good day, Carla. You know you encourage somebody, Carla. Amazing. Pumpkin, yuck. You're one of the few. Hold on just a second. You had no idea that you were switching out foods until I said the Red Robin lettuce wrap burger. I have been doing that for a year and switched out the fries for steamed broccoli. Now you feel so empowered. Yes, you have got to give yourself credit for that. You've got to give yourself credit. Be like, oh my gosh, I actually did something that mattered. You're changing your own narrative, your own story, your own habits, your own routine. Nobody else is going to do it for you. Nobody's going to come and save you. I'm sorry to tell you that, or maybe I'm not, but nobody else is going to do it for you. And while somebody else is standing next to you and they are binging and gorging on whatever it is, to do the puzzle piece on TikTok. No, whatever they're binging and gorging on, and you're choosing not to in that moment, internally go, well done. Good job. And then just move on. You do not have to put yourself down like all of the other people have potentially put you down. You know, you stand in your own knowing of what you have been doing that is adding up those better decisions. Somebody else can scoff at you and go, that's not going to matter, or whatever. I don't know. I'm making that up. But you know what I mean? And internally you go, actually, I know it already is. And be a little sassy. Be a little smart ass in your answer in your head. Be a little bit like, guess you don't know what you're talking about. And just know, like, be empowered inside of yourself to be like, I'm going to congratulate myself. I'm going to be proud of myself. I don't require, this is back to that requiring. I require nobody else to be proud of me in order for me to have success. I don't require anybody to acknowledge it. I don't require anybody to pay attention to what I'm eating. I don't require anybody to be proud of me. I don't require anybody to approve of what I'm doing. I don't require anybody to give me permission. And I don't require anybody to eat the same way that I eat. I require nothing from anybody else for me to have success and to have quality of life. I'm moving forward. If you get left in the dust, it's not my problem. I'm going to move forward and I'm just going to live by example. And I'm telling you, people will watch you. They will pay attention. And that is the example that you can be. Just be the example. Don't talk about it. Just be it. Just be about that business and do it for you. And then when you wake up and you feel like a freaking $1 million, maybe the treat that brings. This is actually something that I do for myself. So I'll fill you in on this before I go. So when we have business goals that we're going for on our business team, and I achieve certain goals and we go on trips and we do really fun things, I mark my trips usually with earrings. So this particular earring, I grabbed this one in the end of August, the beginning of August. We took a business trip and I had a friend of mine help me pick these out. And this was at Swarovski Crystal Place. And I mark my little, it's my own journey. I mean, normally I don't even like tell people, and people don't even need to know that, but that's me. I love earrings for whatever reason. I want a good quality earring that I can wear. And every time I put them on with whatever outfit, and now I have a handful of earring sets that they remind me. They remind me of the goal that I accomplished. They remind me of the location that I was at when I bought them, the friends that I was with. Let's see if I can put that on without a mirror. They remind me, and I like that feeling. I like that marking of that. So I'm not rewarding myself with food anymore. I'm rewarding myself with something that means something different. So now I remember exactly where I was, the goal that I met, and the friends that I was with that helped me pick them out. Does that make sense? Do something like that for yourself. And again, you don't even have to tell somebody that you did it. You don't even have to tell somebody that you just whatever, that you added something to your list when you went shopping and you bought yourself, like normally you would never ever in a million years buy yourself a pair of $15 socks. Like you always thought that was just super ridiculous, but you've wanted that silly pair of socks forever because they have a different cush. They feel better in your tennis shoe, whatever it is. You can go walking easier, whatever. And you just allow yourself, and you're like, I'm just going to get that pair of socks. That might seem super lame to everybody else. Who cares? You do you. You get to reward yourself with what matters to you. And then just have those markers along the way. And I'm telling you, it becomes this really fun life of reward that doesn't put you backwards. And I've learned how to reward myself now, going from a 2X all the way down to a large in my 50s after my cycle stopped. I stopped focusing on the mistakes that I was making, quote unquote. I started focusing on the intangible results that I was getting. I got rid of my scale. I gave myself permission for my journey. I stopped requiring anything of anybody else, and I worked on my mindset. And you can do all of that. You can do all of it. You are so much more powerful than you know you are. So if you need any information on the trio, reach out to me. Don't sabotage yourself. Reach out to me. You can get into my inbox on Instagram. You can get into Messenger on Facebook. Facebook, you can also keep things in the comments. You could put trio and I'll get you a cart with all three of them in there. On Instagram, you can put trio in my inbox. TikTok, you have to jump over to Instagram. There's a little icon on my page. If you go up to my page right here, there's an icon. My face will come up again right here, and you click on it and get into my inbox and say trio, or text me if you see my number anywhere and say, you were talking about those 3 supplements. Will you send me a cart with all 3 of those in it? I need to see that. And I will tell you this, when you see that, go to the top of the page and there's a little person icon. Register with your name for your free customer account. Check the box for the perks so that you can get $4.99 shipping. Some people will choose to grab 2 months at a time, knowing that there's a 6-month guarantee. Okay. So you can do that too. If you need to know about the gut primer, if you need to know about adaptogenic herbs, whatever, turmeric, ashwagandha, had somebody asking me about the ashwagandha this morning, let me know. Okay. And I will be able to help you navigate. Again, let's not get you things that you don't need, but let's also teach you to fish at the same time. And the challenge starts on Monday. Tomorrow's the last day of the week. So tomorrow at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, I'll be back here wherever you are, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. I'll be back here at 10 a.m. And then on Monday, we'll do the challenge. I'll still be here at 10, but then we'll be 2 p.m. Central Standard Time in the group as well. And that's Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. And get yourself in there and get yourself tagged in a free recipe PDF. And if it might be fast. It might take a couple of days to get tagged. It just depends. We're nearing 5,000 people in the group now. So, all right. Be super blessed. I love you guys. Have such an incredible day. And I will see you tomorrow. All right. Bye, you guys.